Africa. Currently, we human beings look at nature as separate to us and the urban landscapes of our modern age. Over the next 20 years, the African continent will host one of the fastest and largest growing urban regions in the world. This expansion will be explosive, informal, and unregulated. Africa has some of the most biodiverse locations on the planet, so we ask the question, what is the future of Africa's biodiversity as cities grow? Marc Sherratt is an architect who specializes in restoring wild habitats using sustainable architecture. In 2020, he assembled a team of experts to design his most ambitious project yet. It is inevitable that as African cities grow, wildlife reserves will become increasingly isolated. This map shows the wildlife reserves of the Limpopo province in South Africa. The green areas currently host or have the capability to contain African elephants. The red areas show new wildlife corridors linking these existing conservation areas. In its entirety, this is a 1,000-kilometer migration route. The African elephant. Elephants are migratory by nature, traveling up to 80 kilometers per day in search of sodium, nutritious plants, or water. They are one of the few animals that survive past their reproductive age. Therefore, when they are confined to a wildlife reserve, they can quickly become overpopulated and cause extensive damage to an area. This large ambassadorial mammal is the ideal candidate for a wildlife corridor. They show a rapid ability to adapt to their environment, as seen in the desert elephants in Namibia, as well as the dwarf elephants of the Atlas Mountains. They have a wide habitat tolerance and are highly intelligent, using sophisticated infrasound, allowing them to communicate across distances of up to 4 kilometers. The infrasound towers. The design of this migration route uses the elephant's infrasonic reception as a method to call the animal along the route. Infrasound occurs below 20 Hz and is often unheard by human ears. Elephants use a variety of vocalizations such as rumbles, roars, trumpeting, and more to communicate their situational awareness, intentions, and emotions. This sound language has recently proved useful in attracting or to repel elephants in specific areas. The towers along the route. In contemporary conservation, in the African condition, there must be a tangible and practical benefit to local communities that surround conservation areas. Much of the land along this route will be privately owned, and so the elephants must contribute to the needs of the local people. Year 1. In the first year of its operation, it is envisaged that elephants be used to remove exotic and invasive plant species along the route. They are fantastic seed dispersal agents, so during the migratory grazing, they will concurrently plant indigenous fruit trees as they circulate. The marula tree. The marula tree is a part of the mango family found across the Limpopo province of South Africa. Its delicious fruit has more vitamin C than an orange. Its edible seed is also a rich source in protein, and so can function as a staple food for local communities living along the route. It is a favorite of the African elephant, but also importantly, a favorite of cattle. The overall benefit of the route to landowners is economic resilience, providing multiple revenue streams associated with cattle farming, tourism, and food security. Year 5. After 5 years, the marula trees, being some of the fastest growing in Africa at 1.5 meters per year, would have grown to a height of 8 meters. Year 10. After 10 years, the marula trees would have grown to a height of 18 meters, creating a self-sustaining food forest gardened by elephants. Today, 89% of the world's cultivated land is comprised of annual crops. Annual crops are those that need to be planted, harvested, and replanted every year. Annuals cause a net release of carbon from their soils into the atmosphere, thus contributing to global warming. Perennial staple crops such as the marula tree, in contrast to annuals, sequester an average of 1.9 tons of carbon per acre every year for decades, thus helping reverse global warming. The thriving ecosystem. The success of this route's implementation will gradually make the circuit compatible with other migratory species like the springbok and black wildebeest. Few Africans realize that biologically, each of them are millionaires. They are not poor, but rich. We can develop in a way for wildlife and people to have a coexisting, secure and sustainable future. The dream for these migration routes are to enchant cities, rural towns and conserved spaces alike, helping us restore damaged land, reduce global warming and increase our food security. In celebrating that wildlife is part of our African heritage and through protecting all living things, we allow ourselves to thrive.